Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's album review. Let's have a look and see what we've got for you today. First, let's have a little peek at the request. So it's come through from Girl for Life, who we know very, very well on this channel for all the right reasons. So she has requested 3 albums here, and I've randomly gone for Shimmer Season, Not My Weekend. She describes it as absolutely fun and an enjoyable listen. Right, so there's not much information about the band Not My Weekend on the internet. They're not on Wikipedia. So let's have a look at the album. Brett, can you see that?
Yep.
Spotify. So it's called Shimmer Season. It was released on the 3rd of November 2023. It only has 10 songs on it, and it's only 27 minutes, 22 seconds long. There are a few tracks on there that have the explicit warning sign.
Oh, yeah.
There's a song on there called Shut Up. So I don't think we can learn too much about the album from that. Sometimes, you can look at the album covers as well. That might give something away. For this one, not so sure it does. So, what are you thinking?
I think the album cover actually feels like a dancey trance kind of thing to it. Yes, that's something I can take from that one there. Right, so I say my generic usual things.
Yeah.
So, obviously know nothing about the band or recognise any songs.
Are you just reading off a script now at this stage?
Set of scripted lines I just say out here. Only 27 minutes long, so if it turns out it's not that that good, not too much you've lost on that one there. I think those are the generic sort of comments I can sort of make, really. So, but we know Gabriel, does do some good recommendations, so yeah, like I said, no expectations. See what it brings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Why not? I think she said what the word she used, something like fun or
fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. So we're going to head off and listen to it now. See you in a sec. So we've now listened to the album, and we're now going to go through each song and talk about it. So the first track then was Smoke. Did you like Smoke?
The song we're talking about, yeah, is that exciting or just in general? Yeah, I actually like Smoke. It was a welcome because I remember obviously we were doing the preview. We didn't really know what we were getting into. We knew very little information. We were just looking at the cover. So, like with a lot of some of the ones we've done recently, the sort of 80s electric vibe, head bopping, toe tapping. So yeah, it really caught my attention. I really liked it. I've go through a couple of bands throughout this one, but initially this stage, I put the band here, this 1975. So it has this sort of really poppy element, but also, I don't want to say indie rock sort of blend, but with this electronic blending as well. And dare I say it, for the first song, a catchy chorus. Sort of put a question mark of it because it felt like it was, but I don't know if that's just because it was repeated over and over and over again, which is what you kind of want from a chorus. But yeah, I think for an opening song, it took me by surprise. I didn't know what to expect, and I quite liked it.
Okay, so for me, I also felt that 80s feel to it. First thing I put was feels 80s, but this is quite interesting because you won't hear me say that word again throughout this album. Okay, you're kind of thinking the same as well.
Sorry.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. So now it comes across as we kind of got into the song, came across as a kind of a bit more of a modern song with that, I suppose, special effects on the voice. I think that was one of the reasons why it maybe had that 80s feel. In terms of like voice effects on it. plus the instrumentals as well. And then there was a kind of a big change up around the halfway point with a long instrumental part. And I put here, this feels like Girl for Life sort of music, because she was the one that requested this album, and we've done a lot of album requests of hers, and I just felt this felt very typical of that, really. Okay, so the second track was Overload. It felt like it. I put here, felt like it was going to be very rocky from the start, the way it started. But actually, once the vocals began, it didn't really seem to go that way. But then I say that, it does definitely have a rock feel to it, definitely rockier than the previous song. But it certainly has its softer parts to it as well. So I prefer the softer parts of the song rather than the rocky parts.
So like the previous one, definitely had the sort of what I would call for me like toe tappy, head boppy kind of feel. And as you said, yeah, definitely more rocky, less poppy than the previous one, but still overall a pop rock kind of feel. It felt a little bit slower than the previous one. Didn't think the chorus was as catchy as well. And this is where I put my first reference here to sort of McFly / Busted, if they were American. If they were modern American bands, it kind of had that kind of feel to it, which kind of makes sense because Busted also, quite pop rock in a way, but definitely more on the pop aspects of the spectrum and stuff. And again, I've just got this image in my head with songs like this, and for a lot of the ones we hear a bit later on, the typical American teen pool party, having a good time kind of vibes. It felt very American modern, good times. Yeah.
You know what? Because Girl for Life is from America. I know she's watching this. I wonder if she's heard of Busted.
Busted.
Were they big in America?
I don't. This is it. That I don't know. And same with McFly, they're very similar. Yeah. I don't know if they, because they were big.
It was a long time ago
UK
as well.
Standards. Long time ago as well. But they have made a bit of a comeback. They obviously did a thing together and they found a lot of stuff. And funny enough, I actually think a lot of their newer stuff, Girl for Life, if you're listening, you might as well, if you don't know them, check out some of the new stuff.
Check out Busted.
Check out some of the old stuff. But I think you probably might enjoy more of the more current stuff that they sort of did a bit of a sort of a comeback with, to be honest, because it has that sort of bit more of a rocky vibe and yeah, it's just a bit more matured in a way, really. So I think it might float your boat.
So track 3 was Hurricane Weather. It had a rather smooth start to it. I felt it has the same kind of vibe to the other two songs. It's quite lively as well. Maybe not as rocky as the previous song, but it did have an upbeat chorus.
Yeah, I didn't write a lot for this one. Again, I think maybe because I was so into it and forget how quick some of these songs are. And this one particularly went really quick. Definitely similarities with the ones before. We've still got this sort of poppy rock element. I would say with this, so the one before went a bit more on the rocky side. This probably more on the poppy side of things, with a maybe a little touch of sort of more indie rather than rock, I would say. And again, I've just got this sort of American teen sort of vibe throughout, really. And as I said, hang on, it's coming so quick. We're on to the next song already.
Yeah, they were very short songs. Track 4 then was Knock Me Out. So I had a nice start to it. Then I just put it's starting to get too rocky. The softly sung part is quite nice. For me, it's a shame the song gets too intense. Seems to be a regular theme to the songs on this album so far, where it has that kind of soft parts and it has the rockier parts. I think a different singer also kind of got involved towards the end of that as well. A different voice, definitely. For me, the heavy part of this song lets it down. I thought there was potential here, but just too heavy for me in parts.
Yeah, for me, obviously, I don't think the rocky parts pull away too much from that there. The tune actually sounded quite familiar to me, but that's what I put. I couldn't put what track it was or what artist or anything like that. Again, we still got the same sort of vibes with the other one. So yeah, so this song was actually featuring a person called Kennan Quinn. So And there was a point towards the end, just thinking, when's this person gonna appear? If they do, or maybe they just play music in the background. I don't know. And then we had someone singing, but I don't think it was that person at that point. I think it was still the regular singer. And then she appears more towards the end, but only literally for about 2 lines or something, like nothing that. And it's a shame because I actually thought that was the best bit. I wish actually appeared more now. So overall, I did like the song, but I thought just that small part that she did, it's kind of what this song needed, what some of the other songs kind of needed, because even though there were differentials, as we'll probably say when I come to the next one, quite samey in some regards, but at least this one, with her singing in it for that very brief moment, made it that little bit different. So it topped it, but just down to her, really.
So next up, we had Other Side, breakup song. Same kind of thing, low key, but then the song builds up and has a very upbeat, rocky chorus. So that up to this point, that's been very much the style of songs generally. I've just put here, you just mentioned about variety. So I actually put here, no variety to this album so far. And I sound like a broken record. I quite like the soft part, but then the song just gets too heavy and intense for me.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
When I say heavy and intense, we're not talking like, hard rock or heavy metal. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, it's a real shame because I know in the past we used to use that line a lot. Quite the same. We always thought, when we get to more of the pop side of things, we'll be able to differentiate a bit more. And like I said, there are differentials in this, but overall, the grand scheme, it is very same. But we've said it before, if a band's got a style and people like it, why would they want to go so different? But as we said in other ones, every now and then it's good to be a bit experimental, get a song or two that's a little bit different, because you never know what it could bring. And that's all kind of what I was feeling with this one here. I actually felt a bit bored by the end, which is a shame because I do like the songs. I think they're all quite good. I put here, I've got the feel like Michael Jackson's Human Nature song somehow playing in the background, but I think I'm maybe just been dreaming to be listening to that instead. I've again gone back down the route of sort of modern young American teen kind of feel. And again, if McFly and Busted were American coming out now, this is probably what they would be like.
Yeah, so we're halfway through the album, and at this point, I took a break from it. I listened to the first 5 songs yesterday, and the next 5 songs today before we started recording. So next track was Hell, Send Me Down. So a rocky start from the get-go. I prefer this a little bit more for some reason, and I put here, maybe it's because I took a break from the album, so I've just kind of come refreshed back into it. I'm not sure. And he still had a similar vibe to the other songs, but at the same time, felt a little bit different too.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of an electric, more either voice or vibe to this one here. Not so much it goes 80s. And again, I put the same things about this sort of indie rock meeting pop / rock. Again, I can't stop but think about this busted McFly image in my head throughout, really. But again, like with Love the Other Ones, my head was bopping with it. My toes were tapping for it. So like I said, they're good, short, good, enjoyable songs. This one I felt was at a different tempo and felt a bit more enjoyable. But the singing was a little bit more high pitched, which I know you're not always the biggest fan of from there, really. And it just feels weird where I've gone back to the song title where it's talking about hell and stuff with this really sort of poppy kind of vibe. You kind of imagine more with our sort of death metal stuff that we get into. So this felt a bit different there. But yeah, otherwise a bit the same.
Track 7 was Lightning. So at this moment, when the song came on, I was just like browsing my phone on the internet, and there was an article that came up that kind of grabbed my attention. So I was reading about what's his name, Alexander Zinchenko, Ben White, and Mikel Arteta living together and sharing wives. Turns out it was a joke. Anyway, I was like, yeah. So that I was reading about that as the song was going on. But yeah, as for the song, it's lively, has a kind of crazy sounding part towards the end. That's all I've got for you.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the Arteta thing a little bit more? So we didn't know, it was something he said in a press conference, and he was obviously joking, and people took it.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time when I started doing this.
But back to the song. I actually really like this song. So this was featuring an artist, Brian Butcher, or I put here Brian the Butcher, because at the start it did sound like a different singer, and I don't know if that was Brian or voice synthesizers or a different band member, but I actually preferred the voice in this one here. And again, real much of a toe tapper. I felt more sort of a 90s to early noughties kind of feel to this one. This one, be it very similar to the others, did seem that little bit different to me. And I'll say out here, I think, it's probably my favourite song out there from the album. So I think that's probably maybe to do with Brian the Butcher. So I think maybe they needed a bit more of him involved there.
So track 8 was American Dream. It had a nice start, but I can just tell that it's going to rock up. I've just think from the instrumentals in the background. But then I've put it here, or maybe it won't, as the song kind of progressed. I was like, actually, maybe it won't. It's not going to get so rocky. Because I just thought the instrumentals, like I said, just suggested it would. And then finally, a different type of song. I'd been hoping for something like this earlier on in the album. I've definitely got time for this song. And I can safely say, after listening to the following two songs, this is the best song on the album for me. I mean, we always talk about an experimental song, so if there was one, possibly this one, just because it didn't have that, I don't know, it didn't have that intenseness to it that the other songs seem to have. It just felt a little bit different, calmer, and just an overall nicer song.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to use the word ballad because it's not a ballad, but that's like the closest equivalent of, like, if a pop band was doing like a ballad song in their album, this would be the closest to it, because it definitely has a slow vibe. So this is when I then refer to the artist, to the band, 5 Seconds of Summer. Have you ever heard of them before? No. So they're an Aussie band who do this similar type of sort of music, and it wasn't, I know we still got a couple of songs ago, but at the end, I had a quick look to see what Not the Weekend looked like, and they seem very similar to 5 Seconds of Summer, and I actually think Not My Weekend might also be from Australia, possibly. I didn't go too much looking into it because we were just listening to the album and stuff. And I did know a lot of 5 Seconds of Summer stuff. I know a couple of their slow ones, but this is what really reminds me, and I think it all comes in that same sort of area, sort of this sort of pop / indie rock kind of, being cool, sort of vibe.
Trying to be cool.
Yeah, that's not the best thing. I mean, yeah, I stand by that because
let me say something. Right, if you're I don't know, wherever, college or school or something, and you're listening to this, right, your friends, people are going to be like, what is this? It's not cool music, is it?
No. And it always says to people, like, people who are cool are the ones who don't have to try to be cool. They don't make a big deal. They're just that. And then when you feel like they try, like I said, the main singer, I think, has got different colours in his hair and just got crazy sort of clothing and stuff. It's fine to be original, be different, but yeah, it just, for me, gives the vibe of just trying to be cool. But saying that, I still did like the song as well. I'd say I preferred the one before, but even though it's still been quite samey, this the same was a little bit different. I have enjoyed the song.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, number 9. Shut Up.
Which I've done before, to be honest.
I just put straight away, I don't like this. It's just got a silly chorus. We've gone from I put here arguably, we've gone from the best song on the album to probably the worst, straight away. And I thought that, to me, that's a pity. I thought that maybe they were going to have a nice little ending to the album after track 8, American Dream, but no, they're going to follow it up with a really poor, silly song. I don't know. I don't like that. Shut up. No need for it. Don't like it.
God, good job they weren't swearing that one. You would have, really despised me there. I don't know. I think it's a little harsh. I don't think it was that different to a lot of the other songs. I put here, this feels more like the first track. However, I would agree and say the first track would be a lot better than this one. But otherwise, I've got the same sort of things here. A tiniest bit of sort of electronic kind of feel coming into it. But I've still got this pop rock kind of thing. I've written 5 Seconds of Summer. I've written Busted if they were American, McFly if they were American. Toes of Tappy No. Again, it was a quick song, so it went off, finished really, really quickly. But again, like one of the previous ones I said before, I unfortunately, for as short as it was, I did feel a little bored by the end, which is never a great sign. But I said it did have some good aspects to it.
So the last track was Summer. It's kind of like, it's kind of described as like a slowish but yet loud pop / rock song. It doesn't have that softly sung build up that all the earlier songs on the album have. And I've just summed it up really as an unmemorable end to the album. A bit of a, I don't say a nothing song, but just didn't, just kind of passed me by, I suppose. It was short, obviously, like all the songs on the album, and just didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah, I feel like this one could have probably been longer. I want to say longer, not massively longer, just maybe a bit more longer. You said sort of not a great ending. I actually thought it was an okay ending to the album. I would have been close to maybe, I agree with American Dream, maybe this one also kind of experimental. It kind of had that sort of slow vibe to it. I felt like this sort of had this is sort of like a real concert kind of one. Imagine fans waving their arms in the crowd and stuff. And yeah, again, had them going back to sort of this American teen kind of feel where they've probably had a massive, crazy weekend party. And this is sort of the come down at the end, sort of slowing things up blunt there, really. Definitely could have had a bit more to it. But like I said, I actually thought it was a nice end to the album. And like with other songs, not the worst, and actually not like very enjoyable to listen to in parts. But still had a lot of the sort of the too samey elements than some of the previous ones.
Yeah, so for summing up, I'm going to say it's a thumbs down from me for this one. I think bar track 8, I didn't really like the other songs. There were elements of the some of the songs that I did like some of the softer parts. But I felt there was a bit of a lack of variety with this album. But saying that, on the grand scheme of things, it still wasn't bad. Like when you think about where, reviewing all types of genres of music, right? So on that, when we think of it in that scale, this was fine. I could listen to this. It's not a problem, but it's just, I don't know. I just would have liked a bit more variety. And like I say, it kind of got a bit too rocky for me, most of the songs. And I kind of feel like this music, well, I'm pretty sure it isn't. Music isn't like made for people of our age. It feels very kind of teen music. I don't know, like 16, 17 kind of thing, maybe. And maybe when I was that kind of age, maybe I would have liked this because, I always liked Busted,
McFly,
we talked about earlier. So, yeah, I just feel like this kind of music is not, we're not part of their target market kind of thing. And like I said earlier, I kind of feel like it's not cool music to be listening to. Not that matters. Like we never listened to cool music when we were growing up, and we still don't. But
so I was going to say, nothing changed.
So yeah, but I'm just making what's the word? Like that's the way I see it. It's just the way I see it. That I think it's just not It's not cool music. Not that means anything. So yeah, a bit disappointed with this, to be honest.
Yeah, so how can I? So, like I say, I agree with, and would agree with a lot of the points that you made there. I wouldn't give it neither a thumbs up or thumbs down. And I think the reason for that is so one thing is like when the album finished, I wasn't dying to want to listen to it again. But like with some previous, there was definitely, it's one of those, songs individually. Again, had them on a playlist that came on, would absolutely enjoy listening to the ones I did like. Obviously, the ones preferred more than others. As you said there, yeah, probably not the target market for it. Definitely felt young, definitely felt modern in parts there. Little-ish sort of variation, I suppose. But I said it was a quick song around board, and like I said, and overall, I think the songs individually, even the ones that weren't better than some of the others, were still good and okay to listen to. I don't think I really felt there was any for me personally that I was like, let me skip this one, or I really absolutely hated that one. I think it was a nice sort of blend. But again, this probably is more on a genre of music possibly than over to Selfly. So that's what I say. I'll be keeping neutral and say I give it neither thumbs up or thumbs down, but wouldn't rush to listen to the whole album again. But definitely would be happy to listen to a couple of songs on an individual basis.
Okay, nice. So that is it from us. So if you've got any more requests, get them into us, and if you donate to our channel, we will guarantee and prioritize your request. We do have a few lined up, to be honest.
Okay.
Not too many, not like our reaction request, but got a few from various different people. So yeah, that is it from us, and we'll see you again soon for the next one. Take care. Goodbye.